Morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to go over some tips and tricks I've found for using Cursor. And basically we're going to be using Swagger to get API documentation that we then load into Cursor and can reference whenever we want. So let's take a look at how that works. So I got my cursor up right here. First thing you're gonna have to do if you don't have it yet in your project, this is, we're gonna be using Express on the back end here. This is a MERN app, so Mongoose, Express, React on Node. Started getting very complicated last week, and realized I just wasn't building it correctly and had to refactor a lot of things, some of the business logic. But anyways, let's get our Swagger installed here. So basically the command for that is going to be npm install swagger.js doc and Swagger UI Express, and I'll just hit enter. But mine are pretty much sure going to be there. Well, they should have. All right. And yeah, this is going to let you generate the Swagger JSON that we will use to upload into Postman and get our documentation going. So after we install, we're going to go to, I have it in configs. You want a Swagger options for your config here. I already have mine filled out. But if you don't, you could just, tell Claude to please write me Swagger options for my Express app. And it's probably just going to, say I already have a well-structured one, but also write it here. So if you have your own app, this is how you would do it. And you will have to go through and do the comments that are correct for your app. So here we have my my schemas for my models already in here. So this is user, etc. If you go to the models, we go to user. I have it all in JS doc as well, but all these weren't in, they were just regular routes a few days ago. So all I did was, go to each route and tell it to swaggerize it, something funny like that. And then also did the JS doc for it. So you'll have to do that yourself, which is pretty easy. You can just you go to each file and go to either Composer or the side panel. Composer would be Control I. They just came out with this, and you can just say let's see if I have a route here that I actually haven't done yet. Sorry. Blogs. Okay, so I don't even think I've fully put the blog functionality in, but just for this tutorial, we will can you update my blog routes Swagger, and it's gonna go through and swaggerize it. It's been real slow this morning. I'm not sure what's going on with Cursor. I know I'm out of fast requests right now, but usually not this slow still, so there we go. And there you go. So as you can see, it's adding all the different parameters and responses, everything we need. And we'll just let that go. So, oh, yep, and then you're also going to need to go to your either your server or your app, wherever your main, server is. Go down here on mine, boom. And you're going to want to make sure that you have this in right here. and also the Swagger options right here, and the Swagger UI. Which, if you just go to your main server and you tell Composer to add Swagger UI, it will do all this automatically, and tell it where your config file is as well. So after that, you should be pretty much set up to generate the swagger.json, which I think, yep, is right here. You're going to run npm swagger, run generate swagger like that. And it's going to generate the file for you, as well as, move this out of the way. If we just start my back end here, you can see now if you go to your server and then API docs, Swagger is going to output this nice little UI for you, and it's great for testing alone as is, and you can see all your different types of requests nicely laid out, and you can also test them if you like. So it's pretty cool. You know, if you wanted to log in, you just do that and then change these strings, and then hit execute, and that's gonna, you know, log you in. But this isn't our end goal right here. Our end goal is to make Cursor understand context better for our app. So we're going to go back to our Cursor, and we are going to look for our swagger.json wherever that output, and go here. As you can see, I have all of mine. It's very in-depth because I spent basically all of yesterday updating all of my routes and my controllers, and implementing the models. So it took a bit of time, but I think it's very much worth it at the end of the day. So I'm just going to Control C, copy all of this, and then go over to Postman, wherever he is. Nope. Sorry, 1 second. Go to Postman, and I already have it in here, but if you don't, you're just going to hit import, and you're just going to paste the swagger.json like that, and then you just hit import like that, and it's going to take all of your API endpoints, everything, requests, all into there like that, and it'll put it into a little collection just like so. So once you have it in your collection, you can see here we have all our register and authentication, you know, our entries. So has everything, and then we're going to do view documentation right here. It's going to take you to documentation, which just explains in very clear, plain English what everything is doing in your app. So once you do that, you can go over here and you can publish it. I already have mine published, and once you publish it, it's going to give you a link right here, and it's going to have all the same documentation right here publicly available. So now here's the cool part. We take the address, copy that, and we go back to Cursor, and we go to our settings. Let's close Composer here, and if we go to features right here, and now we can add a document from an address. So this is just adding API documentation. You would paste the address, hit enter, name it, so that way you can call on it. We're not going to do it because I already have it right here as NFL pool docs. And now it's in your settings, it's in your system, so you can call on it whenever you want. So now if I wanted to see how we could implement a front end component or something to use our back end. We could do @docs, and then there's our NFL pool docs right there. And you can say, using the documentation provided, please write me a front end component for requesting to join a pool. And yeah, so it basically is going to go read through your documentation, and this looks like it is the actual correct endpoint to join a pool. And yeah, it's pretty neat because it's not going to get confused. I was running into the past where it would start trying to build new functionality or logic that already existed because it doesn't have the full context, and then it was layering on top of each other, and it just became a whole tangled mess. Not what we wanted. So I spent about 3 days, 4 days refactoring everything, adding the Swagger comments, and then also the JS doc comments. Not going to cover that today. Still need to play around with it more myself. But it's just going to make everything much smoother as you're going through. And you could even, go to your cursor rules if you wanted and say every time reference, this documentation. I have probably way too much in here right now, but I was trying to make sure it knew our user flow. It kept getting confused about my user flow, so I have all of this in here. And then since it's right here, I'll just touch on it real quick. Make a cursor ignore file. It's going to help you immensely. Just .cursor ignore, and you can even have it write it for you. Just Command K, and then write .cursor ignore. Spelling that right? Ignore. I want to ignore all node modules, and other typical ignore files and folders. And it should just go in and boom, write you a nice little ignore file right there. So you don't have to worry about in settings, features, your code base indexing. So that will make sure it's just ignoring all of that context that isn't relevant for it and just going to bog it down and get it more and more confused. So yeah, I think that's about it for today, guys. I just kind of discovered the @docs yesterday. I hadn't been using it a bunch. I use the @files often and the @folders. So I thought it was really cool just to give concise overall context to whatever model you may be using at the time. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and a comment. Let me know if you want any other videos or specific features that you have questions about. All right, you guys have a beautiful day. Adios.